Hi, it's Robbie, and today I'm going to take you with me. Just a chore around here. No, it's not a chore. It's having fun in the garden. And showing you how I just set that two system up. That's going to give me tons of plant food, compost tea for all my ginger, turmeric, and even my flowers. And of course my stevia too. How cool is that? Free compost tea. Now I'm going to set something up as a two system for the ginger and the turmeric. I'm taking all this out. And look at this. This was all leaf matter, and oh, look at this. That's just, actually it's a rock that's broken down. Look at that. Is this, oh look, there's even worms still in here. I'm going to put some of them back. But I want this soil because I can plant in this now. In the meantime, what I'm going to do here, oh, this is gorgeous. You see I'm putting in a tube. I just put the tube in like I did the other one, and I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue around the space there, and I'll just keep it a little bit snug, and then I'm going to wrap some tulle around it. Then I'm going to cover this up with weeds and stuff on the bottom like I did before. See, there's a couple little eggshells you'll see. Look at that. But it's just beautiful. That poor worm, as you saw, there's only one worm because they've eaten everything, so they left. But this is just gorgeous. And I'll put it back on the top, and I'll also use it maybe for starting some purple tree color and stuff. This is what's amazing. This is what I'm showing you. This is Mother Nature's soil. This is real soil. The only thing it does need to bring the earthworms back is to dump in some leaves. And brassica leaves are the best. But you know, if you've got comfrey or something else, you push that in there and the microbes and everything will come back. But right now they've done their job, and this is just completely finished. Perfect for young plants, seedlings. And really, when you think about it, it's not enough if I was going to grow zucchini in here, because I wouldn't be able to grow zucchini in here. This soil is already broke down. So the zucchini would start, but it would still need more food. It would still need more from earthworms. It'd need more from microbes. So the point is, I would have to add to it, which is real simple. Just step into the garden, grab some leaves, push it into the soil, and everything would grow. But right now I'm going to set this up. See, there's more earthworms. There's another earthworm, but the poor thing has not much to eat. So I'm going to move that out, load that up back with leaves. I'll go through the garden. I'm sure there's plenty of yellow and green leaves I can pull off. I've got some branches and stuff I don't want. Look, I found some petrified squash around. I can throw all that in there. Oh, maybe not the petrified squash. Because if I throw that in there, it will grow, and I don't want to grow squash here. I want this to be more of a compost tea. This is going to be a two system, so I can take the water that comes out and I can water all the plants with food. And this here is mainly for my ginger and turmeric. And yes, I'm growing flowers for fun. And of course, I've got my stevia in there too. But this is going to be designed just for the ginger and turmeric. So I'm going to load this up with a lot of leaf matter. And then I'll top it with some soil. And the two system I'm going to use is what's sitting over there. That's turmeric in the orange bucket. And I'm going to put it in that black flower pot. And the black flower pot will sit there. Now, why do I like my two systems so much? I'll tell you why. The reason is I can also go back and not only lift the orange bucket up and add in leaf matter, but I can also remove the black flower pot if I wanted to, and take what's in there and start over. I could gently pull it out, because once it's in there, it kind of gets hard packed in there. So you'll have like a big hole if you go to lift the bucket up. I can take that soil that's in there, everything broke down, the compost, dump it somewhere if I want to use it, come back with the black flower pot that's there. Of course, I lift that out and refill it, and then start the whole process over. That's why you want on the very bottom, that's going to be around my tube, you're going to want to make sure it's got a lot of branches and stuff, because I don't want it to cake up. And that's why I've got my excess tulle that is going to go in around here and stop anything from blocking up my hole. Now this one already had holes, so if it leaks a little bit, that's okay. I can put a bucket underneath. But right now I'll get most of it coming out of here, and I couldn't this doesn't bend. The irrigation tubing doesn't bend. It literally will bend. It won't make, if I was going to bring it out, it was going to come out to here. So right now I can put a flexible tube there if I want, or just put a bucket there and catch it and then pour it into my watering can. All right, so now you know what I'm doing here, because I look at these and though I know they're really good and I stuffed them with leaves and everything, I want my ginger and turmeric to really get nice and big. The dogs are screaming, they want Gary. They just saw him drive by. And I know that it can use a boost, and this will give it a boost. And then I can also walk around and water some other stuff. See? I told you, they saw Gary and they're going, take us, take us. And he's going, no, I can't chase you around the yard. So that's it. So, you know, think about 2 systems around your yard. You know how I love my 2 systems. You know how I love my irrigation tubing now. I've just strung up a ton of watermelon in the garden. And I am so excited. I just have to figure out which ones I'm going to trim, because one watermelon plant cannot have a couple dozen watermelon on it. So I'm going to have to trim it back later. All right, so that's it. And maybe we'll come back and see what it looks like. But I'm not going to probably finish it right now. I'm just going to stuff it, hold on to that soil, make sure that soil does not dry out. So I will want to put a little bit of water in there. I don't have any water in there because there are some earthworms in there. And if they dry out, they'll either leave or they could die. So I'll put a little water in there. There is holes in that pot until I decide where I'm going to put that soil. But that soil is going to be great. Maybe I'll plant some more ginger and turmeric with it because it was from here, just because. All right, let me get this done. Right here, see the holes, the little holes that went through? You go on both sides. Now, is it going to be perfect? It's not a perfect seal, but it could be. It could be. The reason you're going to go on both sides, see how it came out and goes out, is because it creates, let me see if you can see that. It will grab it from the inside as well as the outside. So the plastic, when it dries from the glue gun, will be one piece. So you'll have part of it here and part of it there. And that's what makes your better seal. If it was just on the outside and it didn't go through, it's very rivet-like. If it didn't go all the way through, then yeah, it could just fall off because plastic doesn't stick to plastic like this, not on a glue gun. But if it goes through the hole, and you can catch it on the other side and build it up from the other side, then it's one piece. And of course, if you've got a nail, you would be able to pull a nail through here with a head, right? Because the hole would be too small to pull the head through. Well, that's what you're doing with the glue gun. You're creating, think of it as a nail on this side with a head, and it's not going to fall out. And if it did, you just put it back. You don't worry about it. But now this is ready to go, and I can put my tool there and start packing this up and have a great feeding system for my ginger and turmeric. So now it's all done. See what I did here? I pushed underneath here, whoops, over the hose. I'm going to have under the hose and over the hose, and this is going to be free for water to flow here. I'm going to put the tool there. The tool will then allow the water to come through. And right now I'm just going to pack this with all kinds of big stuff. So it can be grass, it can be branches. Can't do this one-handed really. So I'm going to go fill it. But all this is going in there. And then I will top it probably with the soil that I already took out. And then what I'm going to do is put the turmeric in a bucket. Turmeric will stay in the bucket for my 2 system. And then on the bottom is where I can constantly add in kitchen scraps. I can add in leaves from the garden when I'm cleaning up. I can add in whatever I want. And that's going to work absolutely perfect. And then I can plant ginger on here, or I should say inside, because ginger stays on the top. It's really easy to harvest. It's turmeric that is a pain in the rear to harvest, because that will go all the way to the bottom, which means I have to empty everything out like I had to do earlier to get all the turmeric out, because turmeric, remember, grows down. It grows across the top like a hand, but then it grows down. Ginger only stays on the top, so you can harvest from the top. So they grow a little differently, but yet they grow very much the same. Okay, let's get this thing full, because that's all going in there, and then it's just going to be topped with some of the soil that already came out of there. So here I'm mixing it up. Remember, the tool is here. It's covering the pipe, so the pipe won't get blocked up. Now here you can see I've mixed and matched. I put a lot of brown, but I'm also throwing in like the veggie rolls with green leaves, because you want to mix it, because the brown is your carbon, but you also want the green because you need both for the microbes and the earthworms. Remember, earthworms love to go inside toilet paper rolls. So I'm going to keep adding in everything I've got here, and then on the top, I will top it with soil. And you go, well, wait a minute. There's no soil on the bottom. Though I can sprinkle it with soil, keep in mind, once I start watering, the soil will drift down in between all the crevices. That's why it drops. So the soil is going to find its way down whether I put it there or not. Okay, let me get this thing filled up. Okay, so this is a plain old flower pot like you would buy, a plant pot at the nursery. Notice they use plastic. All right, so now this has got kitchen scraps on the bottom. It's got leaves. There's some toilet paper rolls. And what's going to happen here is I could put some soil in there. Let's put some soil in here. It doesn't have to be a whole lot. Don't want to lose anything, because we know there's going to be all kinds of stuff in here. And that will start to break down right away, but I'm going to put a little bit more in there. Might come back and do more later. I'll see. And then I'm going to take this bucket that's got a turmeric. Now the turmeric's going to be in the bucket. Now I'm going to water this, which will water this, which will put the water through here, and that will give me water later. I'm still now going to finish. I'll probably put different soils in there now, and I'm not going to fill it all the way. Now remember, this is what I always say. Later on, if you were going to plant something that was a heavy feeder, like a squash, or anything that uses a lot of food, like watermelon or something, or even next spring, you can come back in here and gently twist this, pull this out, and you're going to have starter soil that your plants are going to go wild about in here. And of course you will in here, but this plant, that's actually there to deter anything from trying to get in there. Now this isn't a tight fit, so I will get soldier fly larvae and probably fruit fly maggots and different things. That's okay. They're going to break everything down, and then they're going to fly away. They have no interest in the food that will be growing in here, my plants. If I wanted a tight fit, then I would put 2 buckets. See the lip on the bucket? They'll match. So I have, some of them are tight fits. Nothing can get in there, only the earthworms and the occasional fruit fly maybe. This is going to be perfect. So I've got some native soil that came out of a pot. I've got the great soil. Going to fill that up, and then later on I think I'll put some ginger in here. I could put another pot in here if I want, but this is going to give me compost tea every single day, or whenever I want it, because everything breaking down, all that worm poo and everything from the worms in there, or the microbes, their poo, everything will be drifting through all this in here, from there into there where they're feeding, and they'll be feeding in here too, and then they're going to drift through. Now, why do you put a 2 system? Well, let's put it this way. This is good if I don't know where to put the kitchen scraps. I can come back and lift this up. You saw how easy it was. Fill it up with kitchen scraps and drop it back down. Nobody's going to get in here. There's no animals except for bears maybe that are strong enough to lift that up. Nobody's going to care. It doesn't smell, by the way. Some people have asked. It smells actually earthy and wonderful always. I'm very happy with it. Now, if I had a squash in here, or I wanted to go watermelon, who knows? Maybe I'll decide to put a watermelon in here. Watermelon's such a heavy feeder. The microbes will break all this down under the soil really quick, and then the watermelon's going to scream, I want more food. Well, they can send their roots in here if they want, or they can feed off of what's drifting out of there. So it becomes a constant food source for them. But don't worry, when you water this, and the water goes through the black one and goes through here, even if you have a watermelon or a squash in there, they can't get it all when you're watering. And you'll still always be able to get compost tea, plenty for your plants. All right, I'm going to get this together. Now I really flooded it really good, so it gets a good soaking, which is okay, because I want it to have a really good soaking so everything gets damp. And there it is, it's doing its thing. And I still definitely will use that no matter what. See how the water's coming through? Now I can get a flexible pipe, which I'll do later, and I could lead it straight into a watering can. For now I'm going to leave it like that. And now I can go through, catch all that water, and start watering my zinnias, and of course my ginger and my turmeric too. So I hope you enjoyed me setting up another 2-system, and I plan on setting them up all over the place. Nice size ones so I can water my gardens around and they can all get wonderful plant food. With that, have a wonderful, wonderful day. And don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye. So beautiful. Aren't they gorgeous? Just drop some seeds in there for fun to let the zinnias grow. And yes, I know I'm supposed to deadhead, but I want the seed, so I'm going to let it do its thing, and I'll take that one off later.